The tale of Halloween's origins has etched itself into the human psyche, becoming more than just a day for costumes and candy, but a melding of ancient magic and the dark shadows of centuries past. This is not merely a story of harmless children's pranks, but one that uncovers hidden rituals, wandering spirits, and the blending of life and death. Behind the grinning pumpkins lies a story of evil and the presence of cursed souls. To truly understand Halloween, we must turn back time to when darkness ruled, and the world of the dead was just a step away from the living. Chapter 1. The Origins of Halloween, Samhain and the Wandering Spirits. Over 2,000 years ago, in the wild and dense forests of ancient Europe, the Celts celebrated a festival they called Samhain, pronounced So-en. It was not a joyous event but a ritual marking the end of harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, months associated with death and the unknown. Samhain wasn't just a festival of merriment but a night when the veil between the living and the dead became so thin that spirits could return to the earthly realm. On Samhain night, the Celts believed that cursed spirits would appear, wandering the earth, seeking vengeance on the living. These were souls unable to rest, trapped between two worlds. Huge bonfires were lit to ward off the darkness, and people would wear hideous costumes to blend in with the spirits, hoping they wouldn't be recognized and dragged to the afterlife. Dark rituals, mysterious chants from Celtic priests, druids, and the veneration of the gods of the shadows were integral to the festival. The druids, with their ability to prophesy and communicate with spirits, led people through these eerie religious rites. They believed that on Samhain night, spirits could deliver messages about the future, making it an ideal time for fortune-telling and predicting what the year ahead would bring. However, not all spirits were harmless. In Romanian culture, the legend of the Strigoi told of malevolent spirits that sought to drain the life force from the living. These creatures didn't just appear to scare, they attacked, tortured the souls of their victims, and transformed them into cursed beings, doomed to wander the world like them. Chapter 2. The Roman influence, Feralia and the Empire's fusion. In the 1st century AD, the Roman Empire conquered much of Celtic land, and the ancient Celtic traditions began to merge with Roman customs. The Romans, with their own religious festivals, also had celebrations honoring the dead. Feralia was one such festival, a day in late October to honor the spirits of the deceased. The Romans didn't fear death, but they respected it with a reverence tinged with terror. During Feralia, they offered sacrifices to the wandering souls of those unable to cross the boundary between life and death. These somber and eerie rituals blended with Samhain, creating a fusion of Celtic and Roman beliefs, turning Halloween into a celebration not only of the dead but also an offering to appease the dark spirits wandering the earth. Along with Feralia, the Romans had another festival, Pomona, dedicated to the goddess of fruits and trees. While outwardly a more cheerful festival, Pomona was also a subtle nod to the approaching death that winter would bring. Pomona, the goddess of autumn, symbolized life, yet quietly reminded people of the death that lurked just around the corner. Chapter 3. The Church's influence, All Saints' Day and the Spirit's banishment. As Christianity spread across Europe, pagan customs were gradually absorbed and transformed by the Church. By the 9th century, the Catholic Church established All Saints' Day on November 1st, a day to honor all saints. But perhaps most significant was the night before, All Hallows' Eve, the precursor to modern Halloween. The most chilling aspect wasn't the celebration of saints but the lingering fear of souls unable to move on. All Souls' Day, established on November 2nd, became a time to pray for the souls trapped in purgatory. It was believed that through the prayers and sacrifices of the living, these souls could be released from their suffering and find eternal peace. But what if those souls couldn't be freed? What if their anger, guilt, and sins kept them forever bound to the earth? In remote villages, the fear of wandering spirits was still very much alive. People lit fires throughout the night, covered their windows, and placed bowls of food outside to soothe the spirits and keep them from entering their homes. They believed that without these offerings, the spirits would take revenge, causing illness or even death. This tradition evolved into what we now call trick-or-treating, where children, dressed as spirits, would go door to door, receiving candy as symbolic offerings. But beneath the cheerful exterior, could it be possible that real spirits still roam, Seeking atonement? Chapter 4. Vampires and Dark Myths, from Europe to America. In the 19th century, millions of Irish immigrants fled to America, bringing with them ancient Halloween traditions. Among them was the tale of Stingy Jack, a deceitful soul who tricked the devil and was cursed to wander the earth with nothing but a carved turnip lantern to light his way. From this, the Jack-o'-lantern tradition was born, pumpkins carved with eerie faces, lit from within to ward off evil spirits. The Irish believed that the flickering flame inside the pumpkin was not just a simple light, but a magical force that protected families from dark entities. But were these pumpkin lanterns really strong enough to keep cursed spirits at bay? Or were they simply hollow symbols, offering a false sense of security? As Halloween took root in America, it began to transform into a holiday focused on community and light-hearted spookiness. Haunted houses, ghostly parties, and mischievous pranks became the holiday's hallmark. Yet lurking beneath the fun is a silent fear that the games and pranks might attract real spirits, vengeful and filled with an insatiable thirst for blood. Chapter 5. Trick-or-treat and Ancient Curses. By the 20th century, trick-or-treating had become an integral part of Halloween. Children, dressed in spooky costumes, went from house to house, demanding candy and threatening playful tricks if not satisfied. But have you ever wondered about the true origin of this tradition? In ancient European villages, people believed that evil spirits could return to seek revenge on those who wronged them in life. Children, seen as pure and innocent, were thought to be the only ones capable of communicating with these spirits without being cursed. They were tasked with going from house to house, begging for food on behalf of the spirits and praying for their release. But sometimes, these malevolent spirits weren't appeased by simple prayers or offerings. They craved something more, something darker, a sacrifice, a new soul to take their place. Stories of children disappearing on Halloween night, never returning after a night of trick-or-treating, spread through villages, becoming an eternal source of dread. Chapter 6. Darkness and Technology, Halloween in the Modern World. In the 21st century, Halloween has become a massive commercial enterprise, with Americans spending billions of dollars on costumes, candy, decorations, and haunted events. But have we forgotten the true origins of this eerie holiday? While haunted houses and modern horror films draw in millions, has anyone truly stopped to realize that Halloween is more than a time for fun? It's the moment when the deepest darkness of the afterlife brushes against our world. Modern technology, from social media to virtual reality, has transformed how we celebrate Halloween. Yet beneath the glow of electronic lights, the primal fear remains that on Halloween night, cursed spirits may not be returning to play, but to seek vengeance and liberation from their eternal existence. Chapter 7. Halloween across the world, ancient spirits still linger. Though Halloween is most popular in America, it is also celebrated in different ways around the world. In Mexico, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, is a time to honor the deceased. But unlike Halloween, it's a bright and festive celebration, free of the terror associated with dark spirits. In Ireland, Halloween retains the ancient and mystical breath of Samhain. Villages still light massive fires, like sacred torches to illuminate the night, and stories of strigoi, banshees, and cursed souls echo through the air, chilling all who hear them. Here, Halloween is not merely about fun or costumes, it's a night of reverence and fear for the power of the spirit world. A banshee, a ghostly woman, is said to herald death. Her mournful wails pierce the night, and those who hear her know that someone in their family is soon to die. Irish children grow up with stories of the banshee, and on Halloween night, it's still believed she may return to remind everyone that death is ever near. In Japan, Halloween is becoming a popular festival, complete with elaborate parades and detailed costumes. Yet even in its festive joy, a supernatural undercurrent runs through Japanese culture. Stories of Eerie, restless spirits who cannot pass on, still haunt the people. Halloween in Japan isn't just a chance to dress as monsters, it's a time to confront the spirits from their folklore. Jiangshi, or hopping vampires, in China, are undead creatures that come back to drain the life force from the living. On Halloween, Jiangshi tales are retold, reminding everyone of the danger when the world of the living and the dead collide. Spirits like the Jiangshi wander the night, searching for victims to drag into death's embrace. Special rituals and charms are used to keep them from entering the world of the living. Chapter 8. Pumpkins, garlic, and crosses, the symbols of Halloween. Halloween isn't just known for spirits and ghouls but for its iconic symbols like pumpkins, garlic, and crosses. Yet behind the playful humor of carved pumpkins and garlic wreaths lies a darker history. Pumpkins, an inseparable part of Halloween, aren't just decorations. As mentioned earlier, the legend of Stingy Jack gave rise to the jack-o'-lantern, a carved pumpkin with a flickering candle inside. But don't be fooled by the soft glow inside the pumpkin. A jack-o'-lantern isn't merely a simple decoration, it symbolizes the despair of souls trapped between two worlds. Each carved pumpkin is a warning that the dead are still roaming among us, searching for release or their next victim. Garlic, a classic vampire deterrent, plays an even bigger role in Halloween folklore. People in rural areas believe the pungent smell of garlic can ward off not only vampires but also evil spirits. In some places, garlic is hung outside homes or placed under pillows to prevent spirits from disturbing the living at night. But what happens if garlic isn't strong enough to repel spirits that have lingered in the darkness for too long? Crosses and holy water are powerful religious symbols, believed to ward off demons and evil spirits. But on Halloween night, when the boundaries between worlds become thin, perhaps these symbols aren't always strong enough to protect the living from bloodthirsty spirits. Many folk tales say that crosses lose their power in the darkest moments, when these supernatural creatures no longer fear the symbols of light and justice. Chapter 9. Halloween and Unsolved Mysteries. While modern Halloween is mainly about fun and costumes, there are darker stories beneath the surface. Some believe that on Halloween night, spirits don't just return in the form of fleeting shadows or whispers in the wind. They believe Halloween is when portals to other dimensions open, allowing supernatural beings, even extraterrestrials, to enter our world. Many report strange occurrences on Halloween night, ghostly apparitions on street corners, phantom footsteps on dark roads, and haunting dreams filled with mysterious supernatural entities they've never encountered. Is this simply the result of overactive imaginations in the dark, or proof of the real presence of entities from another world? In today's world, where science and logic reign supreme, the supernatural mysteries of Halloween are still debated. Yet even the most skeptical can't deny that eerie feeling, that strange chill down the spine when they step outside on Halloween night, sensing the invisible presence of something beyond human understanding. Chapter 10. The Future of Halloween, an Everlasting Celebration. Halloween has evolved over centuries, from the ancient Celtic rituals to one of the biggest and most commercialized holidays in the world. But what does the future hold? Will Halloween continue to grow, or will it return to its dark and shadowy roots? With the development of technology, Halloween may become even more terrifying as virtual reality and special effects offer more realistic horror experiences. Will we continue to face ancient spirits in a digital world, or create new supernatural beings more terrifying than we can imagine? One thing is certain: Halloween, with its ancient mysteries and ghostly allure, will never disappear. The combination of tradition and innovation will keep this holiday alive, and Halloween will forever be a time when we confront our deepest fears, staring into the dark and finding both terror and strength within. Because ultimately, Halloween is not just a holiday, it's a symbol of the unknown, of unsolved mysteries, and the unbreakable bond between life and death. We may laugh and dress as monsters and ghosts, but deep in our hearts, we know that Halloween is a reminder that darkness is always beside us, waiting for its moment to rise. On Halloween night, when the pumpkins flicker and darkness falls, listen carefully. You may hear the footsteps of wandering spirits, searching for answers or a new victim to drag into eternal night. Wishing you a Halloween full of chills and mystery.